Ohai, Yoshkar-Ola, Lugov-Omar, Yoshkar, red, Ol, the city, the red city, Uster, Zarola, Tsarla, Charla, the city in Russia, the capital of the Republic of Mariel. Administrative center of the city district, city of Yoshkar-Ola. Till 1919 August, during the period from 1919 to 1928, Krasnoyarsk was called. In 1984 it was awarded the Order de Labor Red Banner. The population minus people, 2020. The city district, city of Yoshkar-Ola, minus 285,508 people, 2020. Is one of the centers of culture of the Finno-Ugric people. This city is founded in 1584 on the Kokshake River. Nowadays, small Kokshaga. And Tsar of the city on Kokshaka was originally called. Later the name was reduced to Tsarvokusk. The etymology of a Gadronym of Kokshake is definitely not established. Attempts of interpretation of a Gadronym from Lugov-Omar are known. A Koksha, bold or from Koshki, fast, prompt, with the subsequent shift, in. After establishment of the Soviet power, in 1919 the city for ideological reasons was renamed into Krasnoyarsk, and in 1927 as the center of the Mari Autonomous Region received the name Yoshkar-Ola. Literally, the Red City. Lugov-Omar. Yoshkar, Red Ol, City. The city of Yoshkar-Ola is in the flat territory in the center of Mari Depression, in 50 km to the north from Volga, on the southern border of a taiga zone around the mixed woods, on river banks of the small Kokshagi dividing the city into two parts. The square of the city makes 101.8 km. The city is in the center of the Republic of Mariel and in 645 km to the east from Moscow. On a straight line. The city from all directions is surrounded with lands of Medvedev's area of the Republic of Mariel. From the north to the city water meadows in the floodplain of the river Big Oshla and partially farmlands and forests. From the west and the northwest the farmland rise, and in the southeast, the southwest of the city large forests are located. Yoshkar-Ola is in our zone Moskatime. Moskatime. Shift of the applied time concerning Ux is +300. According to the applied time and geographical longitude, average solar midday in Yoshkar-Ola comes at 11:48. Moderately continental with long cold winter and in the warm summer. Average temperature in the summer +17.2 C. The hottest weather in the middle of July. Air gets warm up to +34. +38 C. In the fall weather cold and damp with prevalence of strong winds and rains, early frosts and snow are possible. November, the most windy month. The winter, as a rule, begins in November. Average temperature of winter -11.7 C. The coldest month, January. Spring in general cool and dry. On average in a year 548 mm of rainfall drop at.
City height above sea level about 100 meters. A relief is characterized as flat, with the general bias towards the floodplain of the river Small Kokshaga and city boundaries height differences small.
About 5 meters. Through the city the river Small Kokshaga, within the city the river of a Podprusen with formation of a reservoir flows. The city is divided the river into two approximately equal parts, at the same time Kokshaga, thanks to the small width and also availability of 3 automobile bridges, does not represent a serious obstacle for the movement of intracity transport. The floodplain of the river Small Kokshaga floods.
Its course within urban development is regulated by 2 water-lifting dams, around a river water intake and on the southern outskirts of the city district to the southeast of the central bridge.
The water system has the area of a mirror about 125 hectares. Floodplain width in city boundaries changes from 1.5 to 2.5 km. Now practically all coastline of the river Small Kokshaga is planned and strengthened by landings of wood and shrubby vegetation. Works on strengthening of coast and creation of the stone embankment are at the moment conducted.
The territory of Yoshkar-Ola together with the rural settlements carried to it makes 101.
45 km, including directly lands under city buildings minus 56 km, the rest, arable lands, city forests, haymakings and pastures, garden and country cooperatives. The city of Yoshkar-Ola not only almost from all directions is surrounded with the green woods, but also has quite developed lawns. City parks, squares and other green plantings occupy more than 1,414.6 hectares, from them 752. 5 hectares city forests for which the status of especially protected natural territories is entered. A big complex of city forests are complemented with water protection zones of the rivers, reservoirs, forest shelter belts along automobile and the railroads, etc. Level of security of the population of the city with green plantings is 9.3 m/persons. Yoshkar-Ola traditionally is considered one of the most green cities of Russia. In the territory of Yoshkar-Ola there are following especially protected natural territories. The Botanical Garden Institute of the Volga Region State Technology University. Functions since 1939. Which is the federal especially protected natural territory. The nature protection mode custom with reserved sites of the local and introduced plants. The area of a garden minus 72.77 hectares, a collection more than 4,100 taxons. The nature of a botanical garden is a fragment of a biogeonosis of zone and regional character, a valuable nature sanctuary in city borders.
The Pine Grove is located in the southeast part of the city of Yoshkar-Ola in the green space and adjoins directly southeast quarters of a part over the river of the city.
Its area is 353.5 hectares. 22 copies of century pines are of the most great value.
These large-sized pines lawn livers which average age 170 years, decorate a forest park landscape with the monumentalism.
The oak grove is in the floodplain of the river Small Kokshaga and represents the site of city forests of 135.9 hectares, with woodiness about 68.6%. Territory extent from the north on the south is 2.1 km, from the east on the west minus 1.1 km. In the natural relation, the territory is the site of the region of the coniferous and broad-leaved mixed woods. The considerable part of the territory is occupied fir tree with fir impurity plantings and also pine, lime, birch and aspen plantings. Directly oak plantings, in honor of which the grove is called, belong to radical breeds of this area, but so far are not the prevailing breed that defines the security status of this territory. Landings of a large Siberian, not Mancurian, a poplar Berlin are of also great value. The ecological situation in various districts of the city is non-uniform and depends on two major factors: emissions from stationary sources of pollution and motor transport.
The main problem connected with pollution of atmospheric air by industrial enterprises is adverse placement of a residential zone in relation to the main industrial region. So, for example, the southern and central parts of the city where the main enterprises of the city are located and high concentration of motor transport is observed, are characterized by the increased level of air pollution. Emissions of pollutants in atmospheric air from stationary sources of 340 enterprises of the city in 2007 made 43.08 thousand tons.
In the territory of the city there was an unsatisfactory situation on water quality in the river Small Kokshaga. The quality of waters of the river changes from moderate polluted, the third class in headwaters, to dirty, the fifth class, below dumping of treatment facilities of Yoshkar-Ola, polluted, the fourth class, and dirty, the fifth class, in the estuarial site. Unsatisfactory water quality in the rivers of the city is connected with production of industrial and municipal sewage, insufficient efficiency of the existing city treatment facilities, non-performance of restrictions for business activities within water protection zones. However, in recent years the quality of drinking water managed to be improved considerably by results of monitoring. 1997-2007. Of a deviation from requirements, the sample drinking water on chemical and microbiological indicators went down from 6.6% to 1.5% of the fulfilled tests.
The problem of environmental pollution of the city industrial and consumption waste is particularly acute. Archaeological excavations demonstrate that people in the neighborhood of modern Yoshkar-Ola lived already with Mesolithera.
12,000 years BB. To the middle of the 16th century this territory was a part of the Galitsky Daruga of the Kazan Khanate and was populated with Meris. In October 1552 Ivan the Terrible attached lands of the Kazan Khanate to the kingdom. The local population was brought to oath of allegiance to the new sovereign, however soon refused to submit and pay Yasak. The broad revolt which laid the foundation for Cheremiski Wars began spring of 1553.
For participation in war, Ivan the Terrible used troops which were content only with temporary military resource bases in this territory.
Revolts periodically broke out again, and for strengthening of the power the Tsar decided to put fortified cities here. Also the city of Yoshkar-Ola is obliged to this event by the birth Sarah of the city on Koksich. From here for a long time the fixed official name of the city, Servokusk, was formed later. Was founded in 1584 at the Tsar Fyodor Ivanovich after Ivan the Terrible's death.
Originally Servokusk represented the typical military strengthening surrounded from four parties with earth shaft with wooden walls.
Over time the city ceased to perform the military function, turning into craft and shopping center. Here handicraftsmen, dealers began to lodge, peasants, city borders went beyond former limits too, having formed the posad and the settlement. Agriculture became major activity of the population. In the neighborhood of the city hop was grown up. Fur, forest and distilling crafts prospered. But the main part of the population was still made by military.
Červočsk remained the military administrative center in the depth of the Mare Edge for a long time. In the city the district administration and the military garrison consisting of the Russian Sagittariuses and Slushly people who had to suppress spontaneous disorders of local population more than once were placed.
For example, the revolting peasants of the Volga region and the Vyatka side. Russians, Tatars, Chuvash, Meris. In the winter of 1609 with fight captured Červočsk. For suppression of insurgents from Kazan there arrived the imperial retaliatory group which cruelly finished with Ferzan. Červočsk participated in Kuzma Minin and Dmitry Pozharsky's militia. They were sent for strengthening of the Russian influence on Don and to the Kalmyk steppes. Legends remain that Červočsk participated also in military campaigns of Peter. With Tsarov's creation the cities on Caucasus also the Russian population appeared here. Near Fortress the Posad where there lived the dealers and handicraftsmen who generally arrived from the central regions of the Russian state was located. In the middle of the 17th century of the village, being in vicinities of Červočsk, nowadays entered city boundaries. Baraksino, Lepshino, Gomzovo, Beryazovo, Kozino, Markovo, Pakimovo, Shiryakovo, Shukovo, the princess. Belonged to the Imperial Okolnichi Prince V. G. Romodanovsky. In the second half of the 17th century after his death they turned into conducting palace management, that is the state treasury. From the non-Russian population Novokresheny Slushly people, Tarkany of which remains still the name of the city residential district, Tarkanovo, lived in the city and its vicinities. Having arisen as the strengthened city, Červočsk became the center of the county even more than 300 years ago.
The city and the county in the 17th century the voivode appointed by the Digit order and obeying the order of the Kazan Yardran.
He directed armed forces, performed legal functions, collected yasok from the Mari population. At Peter at Červočsk it was attributed to the Kazan province which included all Volga region from Nizhny Novgorod to Astrakhan. In 1775 the decree according to which the Kazan province included only central Volga area is issued. Červočsk became the district center of again transformed Kazan province. In the 18th century the city changed a little. There were stone houses, 5 churches were constructed. Troitsks. 1736. Vkado Ierosolimsky. 1754. Voznesensenskaya. 1756. Resurrection Cathedral. 1759. Tikvin. 1774.
It was specified in the economic notes of the Červočsk county made at the end of the 18th century that in Resurrection Cathedral the storeroom for storage of the brought together state monetary treasury was located.
In the state room near Trinity Church, the city police and prison were placed. In the 18th century in the city there were first industrial enterprises, the boom of stone construction. Before the city was completely wooden, was observed. In the city the Alexandro-Elizabethinsky Fair began to be held. Then in the city there are merchant dynasties. In 1835 the first regular plan of Tsavokost was created. On it on March 1, 1835 the Emperor Nicholas I with own hand traced. Beyond this,
according to this plan, the city also developed further, gradually turning into the trade and economic and cultural center of the Mari Edge, though its population made only about 200 people.
From the middle of the 19th century Tsavokost becomes the place of political exile. Here participants of the Polish Revolt of 1863 were banished. On the level of secondary education, Tsavokost during this period won first place in the province, advancing Kazan. Here on 2,000 of the population there were 5 schools. But at the same time in the city there was no developed industry. In 1837 the local historian, the district police officer, the Baron Alexander von Keller, wrote inOkrakovi notes. There are no factories in the plants. Different handicraftsmen is. The joiner -1, shoemakers -2, tailors -2, a medical nickname -1, an Olivianic -1, dyers -2. Later, almost half a century, in 1876, other local historian, the teacher I.O.
There you have noted. Except for the baker, the butcher, the shoemaker and the few other handicraftsmen who were engaged in such works without which no congestion of people could exist at the smallest degree of education of the population, any industry it is not known to urban population.
Only at the end of the 19th century in Tsavokost the small distillery at which 70 workers worked was constructed. By the beginning of the 20th century Tsavokost remained the quiet country town consisting of 13 streets and 300 various buildings. In such type it remained practically till 20th years of the 20th century. The basis of the economy was made by agriculture. The peasantry was the most numerous estate. On November 13, 1918 the District Committee of Rock B raised a question of renaming of the city, and on February 17, 1919 Tsavokost was renamed by the resolution of Vyevek of Rusfers into Krasnoyarsk. On June 18, 1920 was a part of the Vyatka province. On November 4, 1920 the decree of Vyevek and Seks of Rusfers about formation of the Mari Autonomous Region is accepted, and already on November 25 Krasnoyarsk becomes its administrative center.
On January 23, 1928 the city of Krasnoyarsk was renamed by the resolution of Presidium of Vyevek comment-free and received the Mari national name, Yoshkar-Ola, that in translation from the Mari language means the Red City. This resolution was approved by Protocol No.
43 of a meeting of Presidium of the Central Election Commission of USSR of March 10, 1928 of 5 December, 1936 the Mari Autonomous Region was transformed to the Mari Autonomous Soviet Socialist Republic, and the city of Yoshkar-Ola becomes its capital. In days of the Great Patriotic War to Yoshkar-Ola, it was decided to evacuate some plants that gave a powerful spur to industrial and social and economic development. The city began to be built up actively in the western and southern directions, and after and in a part over the river.
Carrying out from Zelenodolsk the high-voltage power line. 1959. And the gas pipeline was of great importance for the economic growth of the city. 1967. In 1950, the 1960th year's ensemble building of the central region of the city, which was big achievement of the Yoshkar-Ola architects, was performed. Building on Institutskaya Street. Nowadays Leninsky Avenue, which became the main city street, was gradually created. Here new buildings of city administration, the government house, Yoshkar-Ola Hotel were built. In 1970, the 1980th years, the largest town planning action of Yoshkar-Ola, development of a left bank of Kokshaji and creation of new Zarekni of the residential massif, the residential district Shambhatli, was realized. The residential district Shambhatli is called so in honor of the Hungarian twin city of Yoshkar-Ola. In turn, in Shambhatli, one of districts of the city is called Yoshkar-Ola. One of the memorials in the history of Yoshkar-Ola is city rewarding in 1984 with an award of the Labor Red Banner for success achieved by workers of the city in economic and cultural construction and in connection with the 400th anniversary since the basis. In 1990, Yoshkar-Ola was given the status of the historic town, a Comment 5, and the reserved zone protected by the state is defined. On July 16, 1997, the State Registration Chamber of the Republic of Moriel registered the charter of the municipal unit of the city of Yoshkar-Ola, which defines the legal, territorial, economic and financial basis of city self-government, a role of residents and self-government institutions in implementation of democracy, fixes powers, a system and structure of self-government institutions of the city. Panorama Voskresensky Avenue. On July 10, 2003, the State Meeting of the Republic of Moriel approved the Republican Target Program of Social and Economic Development of the city of Yoshkar-Ola for 2003-2008 under the name Capital. Creation of the qualitative urban environment understood as set of favorable conditions for life of the population and activity of economic entities that gave a new impetus to development of the city became its purpose. Now in the territory of the city, works on restoration and reconstruction of the few remained buildings and churches are actively conducted, new houses are under construction, favorable conditions for life of residents of Yoshkar-Ola are created. In 2006, the meeting of deputies of the city district, city of Yoshkar-Ola, accepted the strategy of social and economic development of the municipal unit, the city of Yoshkar-Ola till 2015, which designated the main directions of further development of the city, including on high-quality improvement of the urban environment and life support of the population of the city. In 2009, a new master plan of development of the city till 2025 is accepted. On July 29, 2010, Yoshkar-Ola is excluded from the list of historic towns, a Comment 6. The modern coat of arms of Yoshkar-Ola was accepted and included in the State Heraldic Register of the Russian Federation on June 22, 2011, and represents an azure heraldic board with the image of a silver elk with gold horns and hoofs. The board is topped with a gold tower crown about 5 teeth with a national Mori ornament in a hoop. The current flag of Yoshkar-Ola is approved on June 22, 2011 and represents a rectangular panel of azure color with the bilateral image in the center of a panel of the silver elk developed to a staff with gold horns and hoofs.
The anthem of the city is the song about Yoshkar-Ola of the composer Andriy Eshpaya on verses by Leonid Durbaniev. Comment 7. The contractor of the anthem, the singer Edward Kill. For January 1, 2021 on population, the city was in the 75th place from 1116 cities of the Russian Federation. For January 1, 2012 the population of Yoshkar-Ola made 252,935 people. 36.5% of all population of the Republic and 57.3% of urban population. That corresponds to the 74th place on population in Russia. From them 55.2% women, 44.8% men. On average, on each 1,000 women in Yoshkar-Ola 813 men, at a share of each 1,000 men minus 1230 women. Population density. For
minus 2,594.5 people on km.
In 2009 in the city of Yoshkar-Ola 2979 children. Every third child of the Republic were born, and the lowest death rate of the population was registered. Average age of inhabitants. For minus 40.5 years. Men have 37.6 years, women have 42.9 years. For comparison, for average age of inhabitants was 36.7 years.
Considerable part of intra-republican migration is the share of migration exchange of Yoshkar-Ola with other cities and areas of the Republic.
For 2009 from the total number of all arrived migrants of these stream of 38.5% it was the share of the capital, from among left minus 34.2%.
The population of the city was reduced to 2009 due to negative natural increase which was not compensated by the positive migration continuing till 2005.
Since 2009 the population of Yoshkar-Ola began to increase, mainly at the expense of a migration gain. At the same time, to the capital of Mariel go both from areas of the Republic, and from other regions of the country and also from abroad. The national structure of the population of the city of Yoshkar-Ola, according to the All-Russian Population Census of 2010. According to a census, in the city only more than 96 nationalities meet. The structure of local government authorities of the city district, city of Yoshkar-Ola is made. Representative body, meeting of deputies of the city district, city of Yoshkar-Ola. A city meeting.
The management official, the head of the city district, city of Yoshkar-Ola, the chairman of the meeting of deputies of the city district, city of Yoshkar-Ola. Executive body, administration of the city district, city of Yoshkar-Ola, which management official is the mayor.
Head of administration.
The city meeting is permanent representative body of local government of the city district, city of Yoshkar-Ola, represents the interests of the population and makes the decisions existing in the territory of the city district from his name.
The city meeting consists of 35 deputies elected on municipal elections according to the current legislation. A term of office of a city meeting minus 5 years.
The head of the city district, city of Yoshkar-Ola, the management official heading activities for implementation of local government in the territory of the city district, city of Yoshkar-Ola, and giving own authority according to the solution of questions of local value. According to the law of the Republic of Montreal, the head of the city district, city of Yoshkar-Ola, hereinafter is referred to as the chairman of the meeting of deputies of the city district and is elected to a term of office of a city meeting at the first meeting. Candidates for a position of the head of the city district, city of Yoshkar-Ola, are proposed by deputies of a city meeting. The head of the city district, city of Yoshkar-Ola, is under control and accountable to the population in a city meeting.
Since October 3, 2014, the head of the city district is Alexander Nikolaevich Printsov. On October 31, 2014, Pavel Vyaslavovich Plotnikov was appointed to the position of the head of administration. Mayor of the city. On November 25, 2015, city of Yoshkar-Ola, Pavel Plotnikov was displaced by the decision of the meeting of deputies of the city district from a position in connection with loss of trust.
Since December 28, 2015, Evgeny Vasilievich Maslov is appointed the mayor of Yoshkar-Ola.
The city of Yoshkar-Ola, a difficult administrative and territorial unit, is a part of the city district, city of Yoshkar-Ola. Historically developed feature of the city is that its line at different times included more than 20 neighboring villages, including Varaksino, Kryakovo, Nechievka, Lepshino, Markovo, Zhukovo, Shiryakovo and Pakhmovo. Yoshkar-Ola was divided by the decree of Presidium of the Supreme Council of Rusfos of December 27, 1973 into two areas. Lenin and Factory. Except directly city quarters, in them there were rural settlements. In the first Kundisky, the center, the item. Silicate. Kayarsky. The center, the item Kyer. Semyonovsky. The center, the village of Semenivka. Solar, the village councils. The center, the item. Solar. In the second Kokshesky. The center, the village of Kokshesk. And suburban, the village councils. As a part of Beit Chigashevo, item Nolka and item Light. Then also the Sidorovsky village council of Medvedev's area was carried here. The center, the item Nolka. District division of Yoshkar-Ola was cancelled on August 16, 1988, and rural settlements, along with the city, were a part of the city district, city of Yoshkar-Ola.
Now the following residential districts are a part of Yoshkar-Ola. Hospital, Petchidachevu List, Pomzovu, Oplut, Western, Stor, Integral, Pomsomo, Landed, Mechanized, Peace, Youth, Machino, Never Nitiktino, October, Orchansky, Prefectory, Coastal, Ramzavad, Sverdlovo, Northern, Soviet, Chombovli, Sports, Tartanovo, Central, Chernovka, Chikadrovo, Juliakova, Anniversary.
Yoshkar-Ola, the multi-purpose city with prevalence of the industry. About 70% in structure of gross city production. The leading role in which belongs to the enterprises of the branch of mechanical engineering, construction materials, the food industry. The number of the organizations in these industries in 2008 reached 1183 units or 13.4% to total number of the organizations of all types of economic activity registered in the territory of the capital. Over 56% of turnovers of all enterprises of urban economy fall to their share. The city of Yoshkar-Ola acts as the generator of investment activity at the regional level. More than a half of all investments into fixed capital of the Republic of Mariel falls to its share. Now Yoshkar-Ola large industrial center of the Volga Federal District.
The processing productions were 22% of number occupied in all spheres of economy worker a basis of an economic basis of the city.
In recent years considerably the sphere of trade and public catering in which 14% all working or engaged developed. Investments into fixed capital. For 2008. Minus 11500 million rubles. Retail turnover. For 2008. Minus 19560 million rubles. The average salary working. For minus 12,648.4 rup. Unemployment rate. In percent to economically active population. For 2011, 6.0%. Level of registered unemployment for 2011, 1.29%. Social and economic deprivation reflecting positive trends of development of urban economy in 2007-2010 is characterized by the following indicators.
Against the background of the cities of the Volga region of the enterprise of Yoshkar-Ola for growth rates of turnover in 2008 took the second place.
A gain of 126.6%.
And already by the end of 2008 on growth rates the capital came out on top, having reached an indicator in
127.6%. Two results of 2007. The index of industrial production minus 112.6%. For 2008. In 2009 the index of industrial production made 97.8%.
The release of goods and self-produced services in the main Naligubalushchi organizations grew to 22,671.2 million rubles in 2008.
The index of industrial production for 2001-2008 made 186.2%. The volume of investment into fixed capital on a cycle of the organizations grew in 2008 to 11096. 3 million rubles.
The amount of works executed by the form activity construction was 5.97 billion rubles in 2008. For January-December 2009 amount of works was 4,033.9 million rubles, that there is 41.2% less than the level of 2008. For 2001-2008 651.0 thousand m of apartment houses are put into operation. Security of the population with the area of residential apartments increased from 18.7 m by the person in 2001 to 21.
6 m in 2008. The capital takes a leading place in consumer market of the Republic.
The share of the retail turnover of the city in the total amount of commodity turnover of the Republic of Mariel makes 60%, and dynamics of growth of turnovers for the last 7 years confirms that the sphere of trade is one of significant in social and economic development of Yoshkar-Ola.
For 2008 openly 75 new objects with granting about 250 jobs. The greatest increase in network was received by services of hairdressing salons and service of improving character. Income of the city budget of Yoshkar-Ola in 2008 was 2,080.3 million rubles. That is 334 million rubles more than the planned indicator for the corresponding period. Expenses made 2,101.4 million rubles. The budget for 2009 provides income acquisition of 2119. 9 million rubles, the planned expense for the same period minus 2,251.7 million rup. The main sources of income are non-paid Republican and federal subsidies minus 35.4%, other tax and non-tax income, including from sale of city property, minus 64.6% respectively. For January 1, 2010 in the territory of Yoshkar-Ola 3207 small enterprises and 8260 individual worked. Total number occupied at small enterprises for 2009 was 28533 people. 19.4% of total number occupied in economy. Main types of products: small enterprises of the city of Yoshkar-Ola. Metal plastic windows and doors, the industrial equipment for mechanical engineering, not reinforced concrete products, small wall blocks, timber, furniture and products of woodworking, a polymeric container, a printed material, mineral and drinking water, bread and bakery products, confectionery, meat, semi-finished products, etc. The Yoshkar-Ola Regional Bank, non-bank credit organization of Moneda, RU, and else, and branches of such largest commercial banks as Rossik Bank and Sberbank works in the city. Additional and operational offices and also representations and offices of banks: Loska Bank, Alpha Bank, Deen Bank, Gazprom Bank, NBB Bank, Norvik Bank, Fiat Kritai Bank, Let's Go Bank, Pakta Bank, Promsvaz Bank, Rose Bank, Roykostrik Bank, Russian Standard Bank, Rusfinance Bank, Sovcom Bank, Hlinov Bank, Home Credit Bank work in the city. Also in the city receiving services of the following banks is possible:
Vistra Bank, Vostochny Bank, Kiwi Bank, Minsk Bank, Rand Bank, Rari Bank, Setlam Bank, Talk Bank,
Transcapital Bank,
Toyota Bank, Point Bank, Tinkoff Bank.
The retail chain stores of the city provide uninterrupted service of the population and are provided by 4239 stationary objects of trade and public catering, including 277 objects of small retail trade, 5 markets,
on 2300 trade places. 304 objects of public catering with the total floor space of all objects of trade minus 212.3 thousand m. Security of the population with floor spaces on 1000 residents of Yoshkar-Ola makes 1094 m.
That by 1.9 times above the mark. In the territory of the city, more than 58 retail chain stores working in different segments of consumer market function are both local shops and networks of federal importance. Formation of communication in Yoshkar-Ola takes the history since 1894, when the local post office was transformed to post and cable office of Tservokask. Along with it, cable connection was established with Kazan. Since 1906 the territorial telephone exchange began to work with the switchboard on 10 numbers. By 1922 in Krasnoyarsk the radiotelegraphic station was open. In February 1924 in the Mori Autonomous Region the independent management of telephone communication with direct subordination to Mariblispolki is created. In 1929 the first broadcasting knot on 140 radio receiving stations is open, and in 1937 the telephone exchange on 100 numbers is constructed. By 1949, Yoshkar-Ola already had telephone and cable communication with all regional centers. Now telephone communication in Yoshkar-Ola is provided by Rostelecom branch of JESC, 12 automatic telephone exchanges.
Electronic type.
With a general capacity of, numbers work for seats of Yoshkar-Ola. Security with room phones makes 98%. There is a possibility of connection to the following providers of broadband internet access. Rostelecom. Atzel and Aert under the J trademark. Airtelecom. House. Root trademark. VIP Technologies. Wireless access. Sitnet. Wireless access. Atlas. Anth. Sedna. Cellular communication is provided by the GANS M-900/1800, standard and lead. There are 4 mobile operators. Tele Russia, Beeline, Megafon, Emets. Services leader provided by Minsk, Megafon, Yota. Yoshkar-Ola, Republican, center of gravity, of highways, passes through the city. The highway of federal importance Pivyotka connecting among themselves the cities of Cheboksary, Kiev and Syktyvkar. The transport system of the city is provided by the following means of transport. Railway, automobile, trolleybus, taxi. There is developed suburban and long-distance bus traffic. In Yoshkar-Ola the railway station is located. On some removal from the city there pass important thoroughfares of federal importance. The railroad Moscow, Kazan, Yekaterinburg, the highway M Volga. Moscow, Cheboksary, Kazan, Yekaterinburg.
With Zelenodolsk, Yoshkar-Ola is connected by Federal Highway which connects to the Highway M Volga. With Nizhny Novgorod the city is connected by Federal Highway P of Povolushi. A lack of a transport geographical location of the city is passing of the main federal highways across the periphery of the territory of the Republic.
The only railroad. The Greendale-Uransk. Passing through the station Yoshkar-Ola is deadlocked, single line and unelectrified.
Features of transport network of the city caused prevalence of the motor transport in structure of cargo transportation and a low share of railway.
Near the city there is an airport. Down the river Small Kokshaga, proceeding through the city, there is no navigation, but water gate of Yoshkar-Ola. The Pier Yoshkar-Ola in the settlement of Kokshaysk on Volga is considered. The rectangular scheme of a street road network is inherent in the city of Yoshkar-Ola.
The advantage of such scheme is the lack of accurately expressed central transport hub, rather uniform transport load of all streets and high handling capacity of all system in general thanks to availability of the duplicating communications. A lack of the scheme is the lack of the shortest communications in the most active diagonal directions, but this shortcoming has no significant effect on functioning of the city transport system in general.
81% of the general street road network of city roads have an advanced covering of carriageways, including all main streets and the main roads. The existing street network of the city was created till 1985.
On the maintenance of municipal economy there are 217.474 km of roads with a total area of 2418,000 m.
181.7 km of sidewalks, 13 bridges, including overpasses. 1 dam, 315 stops of public transport, 40.1 km of the stormwater drainage system. In the city there are more than 300 streets, lanes, avenues, boulevards. In Yoshkar-Ola 8 bridges crossing the river Small-Kokshaga, from them 4 pedestrian.
Theatrical, Park, Voskrzynski, Gogol.
3 automobile. Verksinski, Voznesensky and Central. A commentate and 1 railway are located.
In addition, within city line, in the lower watercourse Small-Kokshaga are located the locking dam performing function of the pedestrian bridge, and also annually built pontoon bridge between the residential district Shiryakovo and a part of the city over the river.
Public transport of the city is provided by trolleybus, bus and the share taxi. The network of city transport has the most developed part in the downtown, which is characterized by the greatest density of network of streets. Start date of the movement on November 5, 1970. The trolleybus is the main city public transport. Has the developed route network. 9 routes, the extent of lines of 216 km. Performs more than 70% of all intracity passenger traffic. More than 385,000 passengers a day. The network goes beyond the city and enters line of the settlement of Medvedevo. Fare since August 1, 2018 is 22 rubles. Operation of trolleybus network is performed by Mount Trolleybus Transport, one of the advanced enterprises of Russia. Utilization rate of the rolling stock -95.6%, regularity of the movement -98.2%. These are the best indicators in the Russian Federation. On August 27, 2014 in Yoshkar-Ola 2 trolleybuses with ramps and electronic boards appeared. Less pause -4230. The first city bus route opened in Yoshkar-Ola on June 21, 1931. By 2000 the wear of the rolling stock was more than 80%.
In view of the social importance of the passenger motor transport, the government of the Republic of Mariel pays special attention to development of the industry.
For this purpose, since 2001, the park of buses of the Republic began to be replenished with modern buses. At the expense of means of the Republican budget from 2001 to 2007, 200 buses pause of various modification for the state motor transportation enterprises of the Republic are purchased.
Acquisition at the expense of means of the Republican budget on the terms of leasing of 50 buses of the Aurora brand by -4230 for State Unitary Enterprise of the Republic of Mariel. Passenger traffic became the last large action for updating of the rolling stock.
Acquisition of the rolling stock will allow inhabitants of the Republic quickly and to reach in due time any point of the Republic and the next regions. Now in Yoshkar-Ola 8 bus routes, the total length of lines -151.1 km, fare since February 1, 2017, 20 rubles. Since March 17, 2014 the strike su Passagersky Privazki began, city and intercity buses did not come to routes. On April 1 the Ministry of the Industry and Transport of the Republic of Mariel dissolved the contract with the bus enterprise on social transportations. The strike lasted more than a month and came to the end on April 22. Routes of the striking Avtobusnik were transferred to business owners. Share taxis in Yoshkar-Ola work since 1977. The beginning to then put PAT-2. For work RAF -2203 buses were used. The situation changed in 1999 when at the expense of the Republican budget 48 buses GAZ -322,132 were purchased. They were going to be sent to PAT-1, but because of absence in the park of the necessary equipment for service they were redirected to mount trolleybus transport. In parallel came to work in private share taxis. All buses worked along the existing routes of buses, later in trolleybuses. More than was on route No. 1. In hours, peak intervals of the movement reached only several seconds. In 2001 share taxis came to suburban and long-distance routes. Since 2003 share taxis began to work in the Yoshkar-Ola PAT-1. Today share taxis work more orderly than at initial stage. In total there are 13 routes, fare since July 1, 2018, 23 rubles. The city stands on a deadlocked branch to Greendale, Uransk, constructed in 1927. This line is a branch from the main highway and therefore it is developed poorly, it's single track and on diesel draft.
The Yoshkar-Ola station of the Gorky Railroad which is available in the city accepts signature train No. 57/58 Mariel, the message Yoshkar-Ola, Moscow. 1 pair a day. Also since July 4, 2015 the suburban message to Kazan renews. 1 couple of local trains, on the days off and Mondays. And since July 3, 2015 the suburban message to Tabashino. 1 couple of local trains, on Fridays and the days off. Renews. In addition, within the city on the Uransky direction there is a stopping platform of 108 km according to which since July 3, 2015 suburban transportations. Train Yoshkar-Ola, Tabashino are resumed. In the cargo movement 5 couples of trains a day. The main share of freights 83%. Products of Mariel refinery. Suburban and long-distance buses leave bus station which is located near the railway station. There is a developed route communication with all regional centers of Mariel and other cities of Russia. The Yoshkar-Ola airport is located in 7 km to the north from the downtown on the highway Vyatka. Is the airport of federal importance? A comment 9. Since July 22, 2019 regular air traffic with Moscow is resumed. Vnukovo Airport. 5 times a week by Rusline airline by Bombardier Crease -200 planes are transported. The area of housing stock of the city district, city of Yoshkar-Ola, for the end of 2008 was 5,559.5 thousand m, including the private sector -639,000 m. The most part of housing stock of the city is provided by multi-story houses. 12 floors. The area of shabby and dangerous structures -80,000 m, or 1.8% of the existing housing stock. The most well-blended when the 7 lot of work on preserving of architectural heritage and development of national traditions is awarded with the certificate in the special prize of the Federal Agency on Construction and Housing and Communal Services in the Origin Letter Union of Workers of Let's Support.
In 2007, the number of the large and average organizations providing services in housing sector in the city district, city of Yoshkar-Ola, made 96. 85 enterprises have private pattern of ownership.
Of them, the electro-generating organizations -2 and heat supplying -12. In the city of Yoshkar-Ola, 5 large managing companies work.
Yoshkar-Ola, Yoshkar-Zawodskaya, Yoshkar-Zareknia, Yoshkar-Dubki, Yoshkar-Centralnaya and 109 condominiums.
On maintenance at the -1658 apartment houses are 4,267.3 thousand m.
Total area of apartment houses. Vodokano Municipal Unitary Enterprise of Yoshkar-Ola, the largest enterprise of the city providing the population, industrial enterprises of the capital with drinking water and rendering services in water disposal and sewage treatment. Now water supply of the city is based on 2 sources. The river water intake, superficial, is located on the river Small Kokshaga. Rated output capacity of a river water intake is 45,000 m/days. Actual output -18,22,000 m/days. The Urbansky water intake, underground, is provided by a linear row from 39 artesian wells along the Sancharsky path, works at the approved reserves of underground waters, with a performance of 82,000 m/day. Thus, performance of the existing water intakes is 100,000 m/days. To consumers 70,000 m of water a day, including to the enterprises of 9,000 m are implemented. In the city there is a centralized system of the sewerage. On balance of Vodokano Municipal Unitary Enterprise there are 313.8 km of sewer networks, 4 pump stations. In the city district, treatment facilities of the sewerage of complete biological cleaning are operated. There is a rain sewerage by means of which the organized drain of a surface water is performed. The water supply system in the city provided 4,550.6 thousand m of the general housing stock, a 92.7%, with the sewerage -4,501.6 thousand m, 91.7%. The Yoshkar-Ola Chap -1 and boiler houses of the municipal unitary enterprise of the same name supply with thermal energy the central part of the city, on balance thermal networks with a total length of 181.5 km. The Yoshkar-Ola Chap -2 of PIST Plus serves an industrial part of the city. Extent of the main heating systems -12. 52 km. The other boiler houses providing with thermal energy of the enterprise, housing stock and objects of the social sphere. The centralized heating equipped 45,000-80,000 m of houses, 93.3%. Centralized by hot water supply -4,231.6 thousand m, 86.2%. Gas supply of the city district, city of Yoshkar-Ola, is performed based on natural gas. Gas is supplied from the N. Turuk-Perm-Bitter, the center main gas pipeline on a gas pipeline branch, Red Yar, Yoshkar-Ola.
And else Gazprom Gas Distribution Yoshkar-Ola is the only organization transporting gas to the city of Yoshkar-Ola and serving gas distribution networks.
Now 4326.7 thousand m. The specific weight of 89.7%. Total area it is equipped with gas. Total length of gas networks in the city of Yoshkar-Ola, there are no 506. 9 km shabby gas networks. The gas consumption on needs of the industry makes 574 mol/m a year, for needs of the population minus 72 mol/m a year. The guaranteeing supplier of electric energy in the city of Yoshkar-Ola is just Marina Gospet. The existing need for the electric power minus 502 million due each in a year.
The city is performed from the integrated power system of Middle Volga and own sources, the Yoshkar-Ola CHEP-2 of the 195 million just KX-5 in the 5.1 million Yoshkar-Ola CHEP-1 municipal unitary enterprise. Communication with power supply system is performed through substation of 220 kV Chigashevo.
The municipal education system is provided by 88 educational institutions, 30 comprehensive schools, 52 preschool educational institutions, 6 organizations of additional education. In the city there are 2 state universities, private higher education institutions and also average special educational institutions.
Development of higher education in Yoshkar-Ola takes the history since 1932 when the Case and Timber Institute is transferred by the resolution of Narkomals of the Usur of June 5, 1932 to Yoshkar-Ola and is renamed into the Volga Region Timber Institute.
Nowadays, the Volga Region State Technology University. In 1972 Yoshkar-Ola became the university city, the Mari State University opened. In 2003 the third higher education institution in the Republic of Mari in a regional open social institute opened. Preparation of a pedagogical personnel in the city was conducted by the Mari State Teacher Training College of N.K. Krupskaya, which in 2008 united about Marga. Now at the Volga Region State Technology University 7,500 students of internal and 5,000 students of extramural studies, more than 3,000 students according to programs of secondary professional education, more than 150 graduate students, 10 doctoral candidates study. In structure of the university of 10 faculties and 2 education centers as faculties, 49 departments. 680 teachers, including 72 doctors and 381 candidates of science work at departments of the university. The university has licenses for the right of conducting activity in the field of higher education in 23 directions of a bachelor degree, 8 directions of a magistracy, 54 specialties of training of certified specialists and also on 15 specialties of preparation of secondary professional education.
The Mari State University conducts preparation at 17 faculties on 60 specialties now.
The Inter-Regional Open Social Institute conducts preparation at 6 faculties on 20 specialties, the directions of a bachelor degree, a magistracy and the MBA programs now. The postgraduate study on 7 specialties is open. Now and mostly more than 4,500 students on internal, correspondence and remote form of education study. In structure of higher education institution of 15 departments, 7 research laboratories, the Regional Training Center, the IT Center, the Center of Testing of TOEFL, Certiport, Prometric, Pearson VUE. Mostly has the certificate on the state accreditation and the license for the right of conducting educational activity in the sphere of higher education, the certificate of conformity of ISO 9000. Also about 10 branches and representative offices of commercial non-state higher education institutions work. In Yoshkar-Ola there is a large number of colleges and technical schools. Among them, 2. Polytechnic, highest college. It is created on May 25, 2007 as branch of the Mari State Technical University. Nowadays Volga Region State Technology University.
Students of college can participate as equals with students of PTU in university life, use library resources of the university, including have access to network electronic library and the internet.
Mari Radio Mechanical Technical School. It is founded in 1944. Construction and Industrial Technical School. Trade and Technology College. Yoshkar-Ola Technical School of Service Technologies. Mari Polytechnical Technical School. Mari Forestry and Landscape Technical School. Yoshkar-Ola Construction Technical School. Yoshkar-Ola Technology College. Yoshkar-Ola Art School. Mari Republican College of Culture and Arts of IS. Palantaya. Yoshkar-Ola Medical College. EMIC. Trains students on specialties medical business, obstetric business, pharmacy, nurse business, laboratory diagnostics. Mari Cooperative Technical School. Technical School of Economy, Business and Advertising. Trains students on specialties taxes and taxation, management, advertising. Culture. The city of Yoshkar-Ola, the center of culture of the Republic of Mari El. In the city of 5 palaces of culture. Palace of Culture of 5. 1. Lenin, Palace of Culture of a name of the 30th anniversary of the victory, Palace of Creativity of Children and Youth, the Palace of Youth of the Republic of Mari El. The former Palace of M. 1. Kalinin, Recreation Center of the Russian Army. 5 theaters, 4 movie theaters, more than 10 museums. 7 children's schools of arts, 2 children's art schools, 21 libraries work. Museum of History of the City of Yoshkar-Ola. It is founded in 1996. It is located on one of the oldest picturesque city streets, Voznesenskaya, being Karl Marx. In the ancient merchant mansion of the beginning of the 20th century, which is a monument history and architecture. Before revolution of 1917 the house belonged to the merchant Trofim Cholkov. Funds of the museum contain more than 20,000 storage units. Rich material about foundation of the city, its social and economic development, life, occupations, religious beliefs and traditions of citizens is provided to exposures. National Museum of the Republic of Mari LFT. Avsiv. It is founded in 1920. Bears a name of the outstanding Mari local historian and scientist E.E. Avsiv. It is one of the leading museums of the Republic. In halls and funds of the National Museum there are more than 200,000 exhibits.
Archaeological and ethnographic collections, including suits, jewelry, weapon, household items of the 19th-20th centuries of Maris and other people, and also masterpieces of applied art are of the greatest value. The effigies of animals and birds of edge executed by the world-famous taxidermist P. Coxon are unique. The fund of the rare book includes old printing editions of the 18th-19th centuries.
Republican Museum of Fine Arts. It is founded in 1981. The main section of exposure of the museum is devoted to the national Mari fine arts. The Russian art of the 19th century is provided by a Agarav 1, Shishkin 5, Makovsky 5, Serev's etchings and others. Also Western European graphics of the 17th, 19th centuries, a collection of ex-libris's, unique works of applied art draws attention. National Art Gallery is structural division of Republican Museum of Fine Arts. Exposure is located on 2 floors of the building and is provided in the form of the twisting spiral. Thematic sections of exposure show to the audience cultural heritage of the Republic of Mari-Al. On the building of gallery aisles with a burrow are located to pass the Mari chiming clock to the section sharp of Obelensky Nogatkov. Museum of National Applied Art is branch of the National Museum of Tea. Avseev I.S. Klushnikova Palantayas House Museum is branch of the National Museum of Tea. Avseev Museum of History of State Security of the Republic of Mari-Al is branch of the National Museum of Tea. Avseev Memorial National Museum of History of Gulek. Museum of History of Orthodoxy. It is open on November 4, 2016. Is branch of the National Museum of Tea. Avseev Exposure tells about stages of formation and development of Orthodox belief in the Mari region since the 14th century, temple construction, activity of Christian missionaries and educators, persecutions on church in the Soviet years and modern activity of the diocese. Museum of Cheese. The first museum of cheese in the Volga region. It is open in March 2017. History of cheeses in the world. History of the Mari cheeses is provided to exposures. Also models of cheeses and other products of Sonersky Creamery are provided. In the museum, interactive tours of the program for children and adults are conducted, including master classes in cheese making, tasting of cheeses of the Mari producers. Museum of the Usser. It is open on a voluntary basis in June 2015 for the central part of the city in the house known to citizens under the name House of the Peasant. Household items, photos, coins, books, symbolics and many other things of times of CCC are provided to exposures. Museum of Ceramics and Potter's Art. It is open in January 2017 in the historic center of the city in the former house of the merchant Naumov on Sovetskaya Street. Here the pottery collected by volunteers and works of the Russian masters are exposed. Not only ancient products, but also works of modern masters from all Russia are provided. Museum of the Mari Fairy Tale. It is open in February 2019 in the historical building, the House of the Merchant Naumov on Sovetskaya Street, 104. The basis of interactive exposure is made by the Mari National Fairy Tales and Legends. In the museum it is possible to see the dramatized fantastic representations in which children participate and adult and national handymen show to guests masterclasses. Theaters and concert venues. Mari National Theatre of M. Shkedin. Mari National Drama Theatre of M. Shkedin. The history of the Maury professional theatre begins since 1929.
In the mid-50s, based on the joint theatre, 2 independent theatres were created.
Maury and Russian.
In 1992 the theatre was renamed into the Maury National Theatre of Am.
Shtetl, which became the organizer and the participant of the international and Russian theatre festivals.
In 1998 the theatre in number 30 of the Best Russian Theatres was awarded a prize of Association of the European Theatres, Gold Palm Tree. In 2002 the theatre was reorganized into the Maury National Drama Theatre of Am.
Shtetl. Academic Russian Drama Theatre of G5. Konstantinov.
The theatre began work in 1937 with the performance, Plate and Creechet, according to the play by A.
Kornikuk was an initiator of holding the International Festival of the Russian Theatres of the Republics of Russia and neighboring countries. The first festival was held in Yoshkar-Ola in 1993. Today the theatre ranks high in cultural life of the Republic. Relevant reading of classics and modern dramatic art is combined in statements with high theatrical culture. Republican Puppet Theatre. The theatre is founded in 1942. In theatre, performances in the Russian and Maury languages are played. The children's repertoire is widely provided by statements according to works by classics of children's prose, Chi H. Anderson, Che. Perrault, G. Schwartz, A. S. Pushkin, A. Tolstoy, S. Marshak, K. Tchaikovsky and also modern writers M. Bartanov, G. Vladichenko, M. Polivanova, E. Chepovetsky. In September 2014 the new building of Puppet Theatre built at Patriarchia Square opened. The theatre reminds the Bavarian Neuschwanstein Castle. Maury State Opera and Ballet Theatre of Erich Sapayev. It is created in 1968 as musical and drama theatre. On June 24, 2014 opening of the new building of the Maury State Opera and Ballet Theatre of Erich Sapayev took place. On equipment it is one of the best theatres of the Volga region. There is a body made in the Strasbourg. It's the only theatre in the world where are held since 2002 festivals in honor of the great Russian ballerina Galina Ulanova. Thanks to it, in recent years in work of ballet troupe big progress is noted. In 2011 the Festival of Performances Under the Open Sky, Summer Seasons was based. In the repertoire of theatre more than 50 works of opera, ballet and operetta classics, performances for children. From first years the theatre fruitfully works with the Maury composers.
Now in the repertoire 2 national operas, Akpeter, Erika Sapieva and Aldir of Elena Arkhipova, and also the ballet, Forest Legend, on Anatoly Lapav's music.
The theatre actively cooperates with directors and Akihiko Ozakis. Japan. Ballet Masters Tamaz Vashikidze. Georgia. Murdma. Estonia. Olga Malikova. Street. Petersburg. Ekaterina Parkinskaya. Moscow. Vladimir Sobolov. Kirov.
Sergei Mindrin, Nizhny Novgorod, and others. The Mari Republican Theatre Center for Children and Youth. It is created in 1991 as the Mari Theatre for Young Audience. From 2002 to 2015 was branch of the Mari National Drama Theatre of M. Shketin. Till September 2014, when the new building of Republican Puppet Theatre was built, took place in one building with it. In 2015, the Mari Theatre for Young Audiences transformed to independent state autonomous cultural institution of the Republic of Mari Mari Republican Theatre Center for Children and Youth.
From the middle of the 1990th years, the theatre puts performances in two languages, Mari and Russian. Their considerable part is addressed to the Massachusetts viewer. Besides, in the repertoire of theatre there are many performances for the young audience and pupils of high school. These are performances according to plays by classics of the Mari and Russian literature, foreign authors. Mari State Philharmonic Hall of Yakoveshpaya. It is created in 1938. More than 80 years conducted the cultural and educational activity at the rented sites of other theatrical organizations.
On August 13, 2021, opening of the new own building built on the embankment of the city, where all conditions for creative activity of 5 professional collectives working as a part of Philharmonic Hall are created, took place. The operating movie theaters.
October. Construction of the first single-hall widescreen movie theater on Kommunistskaya Street was the beginning in 1956. The movie theater, which received subsequently the name October, was opened in September 1959 and was counted on 500 places.
3 parts of the historical drama according to the novel by Alexei Tolstoy, Purgatory, were the first movies shown at movie theater.
Sisters, 18th Year, and Gloomy Morning. In 1974, at movie theater, reconstruction of the auditorium was made. At the beginning of the odd years, the movie theater was closed. The building of movie theater was converted into shopping center.
On November 12, 2009, after capital reconstruction of rooms in the building, the movie theater was reopened. The number of halls was increased to 4.
The movie 2012 became premiere display at opening of movie theater. In April 2012, the movie theater underwent the next reconstruction, as a result of which the number of cinema halls was increased to 5. Now in halls 1, 2 and 3, the set of the equipment for display of the Expand Company, the film theatrical sound Dolby CP processor with the standard of a sound Dolby Digital Surround X is established. In halls 4 and 5, the film theatrical sound Dolby CP processor with the standard of a sound Dolby Digital. Halls 1 and 3 are equipped with a digital projector of Christie CP as, in Hall 2 the digital projector of Barco DDC, in halls 4 and 5, a film projector of Mi Optimio 5 with the digital reading out Dolby Cat. 702 head is established. Total capacity of movie theater minus 168 places, from them. Hall 1, 68 places. The size of the screen 10 x 4.2 m. Hall 2, 40 places. The size of the screen 10.2 x 4.3 m. Hall 3, 30 places. The size of the screen 8.5 x 3.6 m. Hall 4, 10 places. The size of the screen 5.8 x 2.5 m. Hall 5 20 places. The size of the screen 5.8 x 2.5 m. Super 8. Opened in 2015 in shopping center Yoshkar-Ola. The name of movie theater is given in honor of A8 film. The first display of the movie took place on January 6, 2015. At movie theater of 5 halls with a total capacity of 817 places, from them. Hall 1 87 places. Diagonal of the screen of 9.6 m. Hall 2 100 places.
Diagonal of the screen of 11.3 m.
Hall 3 148 places. Diagonal of the screen of 14.2 m. Hall 4 148 places. Diagonal of the screen of 14.2 m. Hall 5 334 places. Diagonal of the screen of 18.5 m. In Halls 1, 4 Christie CP projector with the resolution of 2K is established. In Hall 5 Christie CP projector with support of permission 4K FR is established. Cinema La Bomba. The movie theater opened on December 27, 2018 in shopping center Planet of Furniture. There are 4 cinema halls with a total capacity of 258 places, from them. Hall 1 50 places, from which 2 places for disabled people. Hall 2 84 places, Hall 3 81 places, from which 2 places for disabled people. Hall 4 43 places. Tonal quality provides the equipment of the Dolby Digital Surround 7.1 system.
Also, the movie theater has an opportunity to show movies in E format.
The source is not specified. 767 days. The closed movie theaters. October 1928-1944. The first movie theater in Yoshkar-Ola was opened in 1928 in Church of the Resurrection on Karl Marx Street, and received the name October, in honor of the October Revolution.
This event was preceded by the resolution of Presidium Mariblis Polcoma of September 20, 1928 on closing of Church of the Resurrection and re-equipment of the building under club.
The movie theater was single hall. Its opportunities were limited to a hire only of mute black and white tapes. At the same time, a part of displays was followed by the ballroom pianist. On October 2, 1944, the decision of Council for Affairs of Russian Orthodox Church in Church of the Resurrection of the City renewed service again, and the movie theater was closed. Record 1938-2006. The first specialized movie theater on 360 places was opened in Yoshkar-Ola on December 31, 1938 in a new building on the project of the architect 5. P. Kalmykov at the intersection of streets of Pushkin and Komsomol. Construction was performed by the Mari Construction Trust. It is closed in the middle of the odd years. Completely, the building of movie theater was demolished in 2006. World is closed. The single-hall widescreen movie theater Mir was opened in October 1961 to the address Kyarsky Drive 2. Later Mira Street. Near the Park of Culture and rest of Gagarin, was counted on 325 places. It is closed in the early 90s. Irvi 1971-2016. In 1971 on Volkov Street. 208. The Yoshkar-Ola's first large-format single-hall movie theater, which received the name Irvi, was constructed. The Mari name is translated as the Morning Force. In 2002 the movie theater was equipped with the Dolby Digital system. In 2011 the equipment for display of movies in the format is installed. In 2014 complete reconstruction of movie theater is carried out. As a result, the number of cinema halls was increased up to 5 with the total volume of 575 places from them. Hall 1, 411 places, Halls 2, 4 on 48 places, Hall 5, 20 places. It is closed on December 21, 2016. Russia, 1988-2016. The movie theater was opened on November 6, 1988, located in the new brick building at the address Eshkinin Street. 18 and consisted of 2 halls, big and small. The first ticket was sold on the movie Paternoster of the Valley of Snakes. At the beginning of the odd years the movie theater was transformed to Cultural Entertainment Center. In May 2001 the big hall of movie theater was equipped with the system of a digital multi-channel sound Dolby Digital. The big hall of Russia on May 11, 2001 updated opened a premiere of the film Brotherhood of a Wolf. Further, the sound system of the big and small hall was modernized to the Dolby Digital Surround X format based on the film theatrical sound Dolby CP processor. On November 17, 2008 in Russia in the big hall established the Yoshkar-Ola's first digital film projector of Christie CPX.
Purchase of a digital projector allowed to organize display of three-dimensional movies on expand technology with application of the barrier points synchronized with a projector. In the small hall the digital projector of Christie CP was established. In addition, both halls were equipped with a film projector of Mi Optimio 5 with the digital reading out head of Dolby Cat 702.
The movie theater consisted of 2 halls, big. The sizes of the screen 15.2 x 7 and small. The sizes of the screen 11.1 x 4.8 Capacity of the big hall was 486 places, small -206 places. The last session at Russia Movie Theater took place on July 24, 2016, then the movie theater was closed. Libraries. National Library of S.G. Shavain.
The largest library Mariel is the main and leading center of information and documentation in the Republic, harmoniously combines functions public and libraries of scientific type.
Annually 38,000 readers use services of library, about 1,030,000 documents are issued to them. Fund of library -1,200,000 copies, including documents and audiovisual materials, books in the Mari language. Annually 16,000 new documents, from them 8,000 books come to library. About 800 names of magazines and newspapers, including more than 150 names of local periodicals are written up. Shortly in the big reading room we'll organize a zone of free Wi-Fi for readers. Republican Library for Children and Young People of 5 age. Columbus. It is formed in June 2015 by merge of Republican Junior Library of 5 age. Columbus and Republican Children's Library. The new building was opened on September 2, 2015. In the Republic of Mariel it is possible to accept the Russian TV channels, Republican local channels, the Russian and international channels of satellite television and also channels of cable TV. In addition to national channels in the city, 3 local TV channels.
Saint Soul TV, the master state TV and radio broadcasting company of Mariel, performing the broadcasting at frequencies of Saints, Ren TV and Russia-1 TV channels respectively work.
From the Republican budget of the Republic of Mariel, in addition to the main broadcasting time, production of thematic TV programs in the Russian and Mari languages on TV channels, Russia-1, Kultura, Ren TV is financed. The population of the Republic of Mariel has an opportunity to listen to radio programs in the Russian, Mari and Tatar languages, which production is performed at the expense of means of the Republican budget.
Radio of the Republic of Mariel.
Mariel State TV and Radio Broadcasting Company via RERC branch.
Mariel Radio, Radio Mariel. Together with the meeting of deputies of the city district, city of Yoshkar-Ola, the administration is a founder of the weekly newspaper Yoshkar-Ola.
Circulation of 3,300 copies. Where the most relevant materials are printed, volume information on life of the city and citizens is given, documents are published. In Yoshkar-Ola there are also editorial offices of the newspapers, Kugarnya, Mariel, Mari Truth, Mk and Mariel, the pensioner. Your friend and advisor, Telesum, family newspaper, Red City and others. Besides, in the capital of Mariel, news agencies such as Mediapatok work. Cable, including digital.
Television broadcasting perform Rostelecom branch in the Republic of Mariel and Air Telecom.
Divan TV. A population scope television broadcasting -98%.
Medical care to the population of Yoshkar-Ola till 2006 was 27 municipal authorities of healthcare. Since 2006, in connection with administrative transformations, the structure of municipal health care of the city district, city of Yoshkar-Ola, is provided by 12 municipal authorities of healthcare.
City Hospital, Children's City Hospital, which includes also all children's polyclinics of the city. The Perinatal Center, Medical and Sanitary Part No.
1 medical outpatient clinic, 4 polyclinics, 2 dental polyclinics, the station of ambulance, 2 medical and obstetrical centers, an oncological clinic.
In the city there are also medical institutions of Republican subordination, blood transfusion station, the centers of social psychological assistance to the population, emergency station, clinics, sanitary and prophylactic institutions.
4. The Center of Hygiene and Epidemiology in the Republic of Mariel, the Republican Center of Health.
Yoshkar-Ola remains rather safe city for accommodation in terms of a criminogenic situation. Since 2008, considerable reduction of number of the registered crimes. More than by 3.5 times. And the general decrease in crime rate. 122 crimes per 10,000 of the population is observed. In addition, in comparison with 2008, the number of robberies was reduced by 7 times, robberies by 4 times, cases of thefts of someone else's property more than by 2.5 times. Also, the number of stealings and cases of deliberate causing heavy harm to health is reduced, the level of street crime decreases. At the same time, the number of the crimes connected with drug trafficking increases. So for 2014, 2984 crimes, including 46 cases of deliberate causing heavy harm to health, 20 robberies, 155 robberies, 13 thefts are registered. From them, 66 room, 107 thefts from motor transport, 40 stealings. The general solvability of crimes in 2014 was 46.5%. On July 25, 1993, the decision of the Most Saint Patriarch and the Sacred Synod in the territory of the Republic of Moriel founded the Yoshkar-Ola and Mari Diocese. At the Yoshkar-Ola Diocese, Sunday schools, libraries, charitable dining rooms, circles, courses of nurses work. The staff of the centers patronizes large families, hospitals, nursing homes. At the diocese, the Mironositsky Orthodox Brotherhood acts.
On March 16, 1999, the decree of the Supreme Mufti, chairman of Central Muslim Spiritual Board of Russia Talgat Tadsuddin, created the Regional Spiritual Administration of Muslims of the Republic of Moriel.
In August of the same year, the Cathedral Mosque of Yoshkar-Ola is open. At the city there are followers of the Mori traditional religion, which is based on belief in forces of nature which the person should esteem and respect. Holy Cross Church of Evangelic and Lutheran Church of Ingria works in the city. Church of the Blessed Trinity in Yoshkar-Ola. The first stone temple of Tsuvokas was Trinity Church, which was constructed in 1736 at the time of reign of the Empress Anna Yonovna at the expense of the Tsuvexhayski merchant Stefan Vishnyakov and the peasant of the village of Zhukova Alexei Osagin. The church was the typical monument of the Russian architecture of the 17th century, which kept in the 18th century traditional forms of church architecture of the 15th, 17th centuries. The church was two-level, on an upper floor the main temple for the sake of the Holy Trinity, and on lower, the temple for the sake of the prelate Nicholas the Wonderworker was placed. In 20-30 the 20th century the temple was empty and collapsed. In the 1930th years on the first floor of the temple auto repair shops were placed. According to stories by old residents, during the Great Patriotic War sets of armored sheets were checked there. Since 1995 the temple is restored in other architectural forms. In fact, this new building on the place old Temple of the Dormition of the Theotokos. On August 28, 2006, in day of celebration of the Dormition of the Theotokos, in the territory of the Government House of the Republic of Moriel, consecration of the new Temple of the Dormition of the Theotokos took place.
Construction of the temple. It was decided to mark the 60th anniversary of the victory in the Great Patriotic War. And the name in honor of the Dormition of the Theotokos, the temple received not accidentally, in honor of the main cathedral of Russia, the Uspensky Temple in Moscow, which was closely connected with all major events in life of our fatherland, and until the end of the 17th century served as a sample at construction of many cathedrals in the cities and the monasteries of Prigozhin.
Cathedral of Ascension.
Church of the Ascension in Tsuvokas was constructed in 1756 at the time of reign of the Empress Elizabeth Petrona by diligence and at the expense of the merchant Ivan Andreevich Kalin, whose house was near the temple.
In the architectural forms, Church of the Ascension, a typical monument of the Russian architecture of the 18th century. It is constructed on type Vosmarik on a Chetverica, two-storied. Vosmarik comes to the end with a spherical dome on which the light drum with the head rises. From west side the church is adjoined by a refectory. Before Great October Socialist Revolution, on the bell tower of the temple the mechanical clock was installed. The bell tower was used also as a fire kalancha. In January 1937, the Presidium of Executive Committee of Massa adopted the resolution on closing of Church of the Ascension.
The provocative statement that allegedly the community of believers breaks the contract of 1922 on use of the building became an occasion.
Within decades the church collapsed. In the building the beer factory was placed.
In 1992 the building was transferred to church. Collecting of means on restoration of the temple began.
In 1995 for Easter the first church service took place in the revived temple. The top temple of cathedral was consecrated, then lower. Reconstruction of the temple continues, though in a little changed type. In 2009 the bell tower of the temple demolished during the Great Patriotic War was restored. Sites. Objects of cultural heritage of Yoshkar-Ola reflect various historical periods of forming of the city, since early stages of town planning development of the 18th century to buildings of the middle of the 20th century, and are concentrated generally within the historical territory of the city on the following streets: Anisimowski Lane, Nabaraznia Street, Karl-Marx Street, Voznesensinskaya Street, Pushkin Street, Sovetskaya Street, Komsomolskaya Street, Volkov Street, Leninsky Avenue, Lenin Square, Boulevard Chavain.
The apartment houses belonging to prosperous citizens of Tservokas belong to the remained objects of the pre-revolutionary period.
Cholkov's estate. End of the 19th century. Koropov House. Middle of the 19th century. Vuligin's House. 1835. Karolin's House. Middle of the 18th century. Namov's House and others. The House of the Merchant Kalin. 1756. Church of the Ascension. 1759. And Cemeterial Tikvin du Prestoli Church. 1779. Are considered as the most ancient buildings which remained up to now. An architecture of the 40th years of the 20th century belong to monuments history. Building of Republican Library. 1938. Department of Mia. 1939. Bath No. 2. 1939. Body of the main Republican Hospital. 1940. House of Soviets. 1937. Apartment houses and another.
Many objects of cultural heritage of Yoshkar-Ola reflect in the period of forming of the city of the middle of the 20th century, the Soviet neoclassicism.
House of the Merchant Kalin. 1756. House of the Lumberman Buligin. 1835. Naumov's House. End of the 19th century. Koropov House. 1901.
In 2007 on the state protection again revealed objects of archaeological heritage of Yoshkar-Ola are taken.
The territory of an ancient jail with the system of strengthenings. The 16th century. Territory of Tsarvokusk. 18th-19th century. Two settlements of the Neolithic era. The 5th-4th century BB. Base of Kodo-Ierosalimsky Church. 1754. Base of Resurrection Cathedral. 1584-1817. House foundation of the Voivode. 16th century. Cemetery of the first residents of Tsarvokusk. 16th century. Remaining balance of the bases of houses. 17th-18th century. Also since 2007 began to reconstruct actively the central and coastal parts of the city. There were new areas and streets. Obolensky Nogotov Square, the area of the Republic and Blessed Virgin of Maria, Patriarchia Square, the embankment of Bruges. A renamed old Boulevard Sverdlov into Boulevard Pobody, Kommunisheskaya Street into Kremlyovskaya Street, section of Karl Marx Street to Voznesenskaya Street, a part of Vashskaya Street to Uspenskaya Street, Anasimovskaya Street into Voskresenskaya Embankment. The Tsarvoksky Kremlin is built, Malokokshoji Embankment is equipped. Obolensky Nogotov Square.
It was opened on November 4, 2007 in the center of Yoshkar-Ola, opposite to the government house and city administration, on the occasion of the 87th anniversary of formation of the Mari Autonomous Region, the Republic of Mari-Alan National Unity Day.
The area and the complex of buildings surrounding it are sustained in uniform Venetian style. Now on the square there are office buildings, National Art Gallery, shopping center, the copy of the Tsar cannon, two small field guns, a monument to the first voivode of the city, to the Prince Nogotkov Obolensky, a monument to the Hieromartyr Leonid, to the Bishop Mari and also, the Mari chiming clock, ours on the building of Art Gallery. Ours on the building of National Art Gallery. Were brought into operation on November 4, 2007 at 11 o'clock. The project is implemented by New Equipment Laboratory of the Volga Region State Technology University. About 50 people worked on the project. The history of rescue of the icon of the Mother of God of Troruchits is the basis for a plot. According to the legend, during the Turkish invasion into Serbia the icon was set up on a donkey who could carry her to gate of the Hilandarsky Monastery on Athos. From the beginning of each hour under each chant, a part of a liturgy of S. Rachmaninoff, Maiden Bogorditsa. In the upper left corner of ours in the opening gate there is an image of the Mother of God, and later in the lower left corner the burrow with its image symbolizing wonderful rescue of an icon and Bogorditsa's coming on the Mariarth moves. The burrow drives in the right lower gate. They are closed, and in the upper right corner there is a blessing image of the Queen Nebesnoy again. Sculptures for ours were created by the national artist of Russia Andrei Kovalchuk.
The Massachusetts of an icon minus 120k, the Massachusetts of a burrow minus 480k.
These hours, the most exact in the Republic, time for them is adjusted by a signal from satellite. Copy of the Tsar cannon. It is placed in 2007 into Obolensky Nogotkov Square in front of the building of National Art Gallery. 1. Moscow's Tsar cannons, at the same time similarity incomplete or the reduced copy. The ornament on a trunk and the gun carriage is changed. On a trunk the number of brackets is reduced, there are no relief inscriptions. Gun weight with kernels about 12 tons, a trunk and a gun carriage, steel, wheels, solidity. On a trunk from each party are placed on 3 brackets intended for fastening of ropes when moving the gun. It is cast at the Svenigovsky shipbuilding and ship repair plant of N.S. Butyakov.
Initially reliefs were cut out from a tree and only then were cast from metal. The copy of the Tsar cannon is suitable for firing, therefore in a trunk there was Vareno a kernel.
Near the gun 4 decorative gun kernels are located. Area of the Republic and Blessed Virgin of Maria and Blagovenskaya Tower. It is formed on June 25, 2007. It is limited from the north to the Italian Park, from the south, the Arkhangelsk settlement, from the west, Nikonov Square, from the east, Voskresenskaya embankment and M. Kokshogas River.
With the address to call the area in honor of the Republic and Blessed Virgin of Maria, the Governor of Mari L. Leonid Markelov and the Archbishop of Yoshkar-Ola and Mari L. Iowan, addressed to city administration.
The double name is caused by the aspiration to show interrelation of the Republic of Moriel and the Virgin, who after the phenomenon on the Moria attain an image of 8 of Exhasky Miranasitsky icon of the Mother of God in the 16th century, is a patroness of it. On the square the fountain with Angel Gabriel's figure, the Virgin's sculpture with the baby Christ, the building of Cathedral of the Lady Day and the Blagovensk Tower, with the reduced copy of the Kremlin chiming clock are located.
Thus, on the square illustration of events of an evangelical plot of the Annunciation, in honor of which on the square the cathedral is constructed or realized and the tower is built.
Blagovensk Tower. It is open on June 24, 2011. Height -53 meters. Specialists of Mariskan Projekt were engaged in design of a tower. On perimeter of a tower 4 dials, with a diameter of 3.5 m, being the reduced copies of ours on Spasskaya Tower in Moscow are located. Design of ours was performed by specialists of New Equipment Laboratory of Ptu.
Each hour from a tower reaches peal of bells.
The sound extends to distance up to 3 km from a tower by means of 8 loudspeakers placed on building perimeter. Time on hours is adjusted by a signal from the satellite. On the 3rd floor of a tower the strong point of police is placed.
Cathedral of the Lady Day.
In cathedral elements of architecture of the Moscow Street. Basil's Cathedral and Church of the Savior on Bloodin Street. Petersburg have something in common. On Cathedral of 7 gold domes made by masters of street. Petersburg. Patriarchia Square. It is formed on October 29, 2010 by a Comment 10. It is limited from the north a complex of public office buildings and Sergradsky Avenue. From the east, the west and the south, the embankment of Bruges and the river Small Kokshoga. Now on the square there are a monument to the Patriarch of Moscow and All Russia Alexei II, the memorial fountain to Saint Reverends Piet and Favronia Moromskik's Chapel, Hours of 12 Apostles. Hours of 12 Apostles.
Are brought into operation on November 4, 2011. Opening was dated for the 91st anniversary of formation of the Mari Autonomous Region, the Republic of Mari L, and to National Unity Day.
The author of the idea, the Governor of Mari L. Leonid Igorovich Markelov, the off-taker of the project, Mechatrony Systems Laboratory of Ptu, the author of sculptures, the national artist of the Russian Federation Andrei Kovalchuk.
The illustration of an evangelical event of the Palm Sunday is the basis for a plot.
Ahead on a burro, Jesus Christ, behind it 12 apostles, 12 direct pupils of Jesus Christ. Enter the first called, Piet, John the Evangelist, James the Greater, Matthew, Thoma, Philip, Bartholomew, James the Less, Thaddeus, Simon the Zealot, Judas Iscariot. Are shown. Each 3 hours. From 9 o'clock till 21 o'clock. Under a chant, Yes flesh of a Chelavek, from the left gate is silent differently Jesus and apostles following it appears. Judas Iscariot, who is lagging behind all, having bent the head, carries in hands a sack with 30 silver coins which he received for Jesus' treachery. Representation lasts 7.5 minutes. Each figure is cast from bronze and has height of 1.5 m, total weight of a design minus 3t. Sculptures were brought from Moscow and painted on the place. Some sculptures are dynamic. The movements of legs, hands, the heads are transferred. It is reached thanks to the harmonious system consisting of 20 mechanisms working from one drive, the engine with a reducer, load of which elements reaches 6.5 t. Voskresenskaya embankment.
It is formed on March 27, 2009 by renaming of Anasimovskaya Street a Comment 11.
It is limited from the north to Sagradsky Avenue, from the south, Leninsky Avenue, from the west, Complex Building and Voznesenskaya Street. In the place of crossing with the Boulevard Chavena, the Square of the Republic and Blessed Virgin of Maria. From the east, the river Smolkokshaga. Extent more than 1.5 km. Now on the embankment there are a monument to the Tsar Fyodor Ivanovich, a monument to A.S. Pushkin and Onegin. In the place of crossing with Pushkin Street. The monument to N5. Gogol. In the place of crossing with Gogol Street. The Italian Park, the Arkhangelsk settlement, is under construction. The House of the Merchant Karolin. An architecture monument, the middle of the 18th century. Italian Park in Patriarchia Square. It is open on September 21, 2012, created completely at the expense of patrons. It is limited from the north and the east of Voskresenskaya embankment, from the south, the area of the Republic and Blessed Virgin of Maria, from the west, a complex of buildings under construction. Decoration of the park is the avenue from a red maple and also a sculpture Signora of Florentian of Lorenzo di Piero of Di Medici Magnificent. The park is designed to become a symbol of revival of the Republic of Moriel, including in the field of development of art and traditions of patronage. Arkhangelsk settlement. It is formed on September 27, 2011 by a Comment 12. It is limited from the north, the area of the Republic and Blessed Virgin of Maria, from the south, Voskresenskaya embankment, from the west, buildings on Chernyshevsky Street and Voznesenskaya Street. From the east, Cathedral of the Lady Day under construction. It is called in honor of Angel Gabriel, whose sculpture on the area of the Republic and Blessed Virgin of Maria is turned strictly towards the built office and business complex. The name is offered the governor of Moriel, Leonid Igorovich Markelov.
The Arkhangelsk settlement represents a complex of the two-storied buildings of public appointments sustained in uniform ancient European architectural style of ensemble building.
Within the project 11 houses are built, some of them are decorated with small forms, sculptures of animals and birds, among which
eagle, squirrel, cat and cat.
Embankment of Bruges. It is formed on November 10, 2010 by a Comment 13. It is limited from the north to Sogradsky Avenue, from the south, Theatre Bridge, from the west, the river Small Kokshaga, from the east, a complex residential both public office buildings and Voskresensky Avenue. It is called in honor of the Belgian city of Bruges in view of a certain similarity of architecture of building of the Yoshkar-Ola embankment and Flemish architecture of historical building of the city of Bruges which, thanks to huge number of bridges and canals is also known as Northern Venice. Reflection and elements of a Northern Gothic style, characteristic density of facades, a decorative ornament, sculptures, an arch frame, step and figured pediments, decorative turrets, spikes found in architecture of the modern embankment, in addition to Flemish motifs. All houses are built of a multicolored brick, a part of facades is revetted with marble. Now on the embankment the Ministry of Health of Rheims, the Ministry of Social Protection of the Population and Work Rheims, the Ministry of a State-Owned Property of Rheims, the Ministry of Economic Development and Trade of Rheims, the Ministry of the Industry, Transport and Road Economy Rheims, the Compulsory Health Insurance Republican Fund, Department of Zags of City Administration of Yoshkar-Ola, the Republican Anti-Recessionary Center. Presidential Boarding School for Exceptional Children, a Tower of Friendship of the People, apartment houses are located. Monuments.
As a part of objects of cultural heritage of Yoshkar-Ola there are monuments reflecting various periods and memorials in the history of the city. Now actively there are monuments of new type, the lives of society covering the pre-Soviet and pre-revolutionary period of development of the city affecting the spiritual sphere. In total in Yoshkar-Ola there are more than 50 monuments and busts, many of them monuments of monumental art of republican and local value.
Parks and squares. The main park of the city is Central Park of Culture and Leisure. It was mortgaged in 1948 on the place of a dendrology garden of the Volga Region Timber Institute. Its first large-scale reconstruction was made in the early 60s, the second is complete in 2007. In 1946 on the place of the former Beryozovsky Cemetery Victory Park was mortgaged. In 2009-2010 in Victory Park partial cutting of sick trees is made, military equipment is delivered as exhibits. On May 28, 1967 on Mirror Street the Park of Bayou Gagarin was open. From the middle of the 1990th years the park actually does not work, since the beginning of the odd years in the territory of the park cultural and leisure organizations work. In 1984 the recreation park of the 400th anniversary of the city of Yoshkar-Ola was mortgaged. At the moment the park does not function, there is its large-scale reconstruction. On November 4, 2013 in a part of the city over the river, near under construction sports and youth residential districts, opened the Voskresensky Park. Also in the city there are the Italian Park, squares of Nota Babushkina of Pushkin, downtown of Yevhen Curly, residential district No. of Bayou M. Slyrin, residential district Mechanician, Dmitrovsky, residential district No. and Tarkanovsky, residential district Tarkanovo. Parks. In 2008 reconstruction of the square at Yubileyная Square is completed, the fountain is restored. In 2005-2006 reconstruction of the boulevards Chavena and the Victory. Before reconstruction, Boulevard Sverdlov. The square on Mashinos-Frutily Street. And others was carried out. Since 2008, large-scale work on improvement of embankments of sections of the river Small Kokshaga, Revolution Square is carried out. View of a main entrance of Central Park of Culture and Leisure from the Boulevard Chavena. Yoshkar-Ola is the city with knee sports history and traditions. In the territory of the city from 2004-2009 in activity of physical culture and sport there were significant changes, and the industry gained further development. The number of sporting venues for these years increased to 261 units, with growth by 7.4%. Strengthening of material and technical resources continues, construction of new sporting venues is conducted. 2 ice arenas, the Palace of Water Sports were built. By the beginning of the All-Russian Rural Games, reconstruction of Druzhba Stadium was completed, the sports center with the Universal Hall, the tennis court and many other things is constructed.
With enforcement of 2 ice arenas became possible within round year to play hockey and figure skating. With introduction of the covered tennis court, the big tennis began to gain popularity.
In Yoshkar-Ola, all main types of sport, including soccer, Spartak Yoshkar-Ola team, track and field athletics, volleyball, basketball continue to develop actively.
Along with traditional sports in the city, also the new directions, such as rock climbing, mountaineering, ultimate frizz, a paintball, taibo, beach volleyball, streetball, cycling actively develop.
In Yoshkar-Ola are also engaged in the following types of martial arts and single combats: Aikido, boxing, twists and Dao, Greco-Roman wrestling, Judo, Capoeira, Karate Shotokan and Kyokushin Kaiken, Slaviano-Guritsky fight, Taekwondo, Shoda. As of 2021, at the city of Yoshkar-Ola, twinning relations with 3 foreign cities are had. Partner cities.
As of 2017 at Yoshkar-Ola, the relevant contracts and agreements on cooperation with 4 Russian partner cities are concluded.
Flag of Russia, Astrakhan, Russia. The agreement on social and economic cooperation between heads of self-government of the cities of Astrakhan and Yoshkar-Ola, since August 2001. Flag of Russia, Kazan, Russia. The agreement on partnership and cooperation, since 2002. Flag of Russia, Cheboksary, Russia. The agreement on social and economic cooperation between City Administration of Yoshkar-Ola and City Administration Cheboksary, since August 15, 2003. Flag of the Crimea, Simferopol. The Crimea, a common 15. The agreement on cooperation between the municipal unit, the city district Simferopol of the Republic of Crimea, and the municipal unit, City of Yoshkar-Ola, of the Republic of Mariel, since October 2, 2017. Membership in the organizations. As of 2017, Yoshkar-Ola consists in the following associations and the unions of the cities: Association of the Cities of the Volga Region since February 2000. Union of the Russian Cities. The International Assembly of the Capitals and Large Cities since November 2002. The Eurasian Regional Office of the World Organization, Integrated Cities and Local Authorities since April 2, 2004. The city in philately. One stamp which is released in 1960. Capitals of Autonomous Soviet Socialist Republics series. Is devoted to Yoshkar-Ola. CHS Markino. 2427. B-sides, on the stamp of 1970 devoted to the 50th anniversary from the date of education Mari the Asser. 50th anniversary of Autonomous Soviet Socialist Republic series. The building of Council of Ministers of Masser is represented. CHS Markino 3904. Yoshkar-Ola more than 15 art-marked envelopes. A series of envelopes are devoted 400 years to the city of Yoshkar-Ola, and also a large number of postcards. The city in works of art.
The mention of Tservopisk occurs in several works of the Russian literature of the beginnings of the 20th century, and also in journalistic sketches and articles of the time, often in comparison with the country time.
The Vikiteki Textile logo on a subject of amphitheaters of A. 5. The Siberian Etudes. Hateful. In Vikiteka. The Vikiteki Textile logo on a subject Gogol 5. Dead Souls. Volume I, Chapter 7. In Vikiteka. The Vikiteki Textile logo on the subject Russia 5. M. The first debut in Vikiteka. The Vikiteki Textile logo on the subject Russia 5. M. The Prime Minister. Tomorrow's Bill. Imagination. In Vikiteka a comment 16. The Vikiteki Textile logo on the subject Jabotinsky 5. E. Causeries. The truth about the island Tristan da Rudna. My remote place. In Vikiteka. The Vikiteki Textile logo on a subject Karamzin N.M. The history of the state Russian.
Volume 10, Chapter 2.
In Vikiteka a comment 17. The Vikiteki Textile logo on the subject Poznikov N. 1. 2 ohms in Vikiteka. The Vikiteki Textile logo on Tolstoy 50. N. Subject, about hunger in Vikiteka a comment 18. The Vikiteki Textile logo on a subject Trotsky 50. D. The Declaration of the Rights and the Velvet Book in Vikiteka.
The Vikiteki Textile logo on a subject Turgenev 1.
S. From abroad. The letter the first in Vikiteka.
The Vikiteki Textile logo on a subject Turgenev 1.
S. Rudin. Chapter 12. In Vikiteka. Toponyms. Yoshkar-Ola, the only city in Russia beginning on the letter Y. Onanets Yoshkar-Ola is translated from the Mari language as Nyarjiana Mar, Narian Mar. The Red City.
In Zelenodolsk there is Yoshkar-Olinskaya Street, in Volsk, Yoshkar-Olinskoy Highway, in Kazan, Krasnoksaya Street and Cross and Krasnoksaya. In the village of Ivachevo of the Dertyalinsky region of Republic of Bashkortostan there is a street Yoshkar-Ola.
In the French twin city of Yoshkar-Ola, Burz is the street of the same name, Yoshkar-Ola. Rue D. In the Hungarian city of Szombathely in honor of Yoshkar-Ola the residential quarter of Yoshkar-Ola Lakatelep is called Veng, where the sports festival of the same name is annually held.
One of peaks of the Low Almaty Gorge of Zalisky Elatau in the northwest of Tian Shan carries the name Yoshkar-Ola.
Yoshkar-Ola in astronomy. In honor of Yoshkar-Ola, the minor planet. 2910.
Yoshkar-Ola discovered by the astronomer of the Crimean Astrophysical Observatory NS.
Chernik on October 11, 1980 is called. If on August 6 is the working day, then the Massachusetts City actions devoted to the City Day are held on the first Saturday following the City Day of Yoshkar-Ola.
The resolution of Presidium of Vievec of 23.01. 1928 about renaming of the center of the Maury Autonomous Region, the city of Krasnoyarsk to the city of Yoshkar-Ola. Decree of Presidium of the Supreme Council of the USSR of November 17, 1984. Resolution of Presidium of Central Office of the All-Russian Society of Protection of Historical and Cultural Monuments No.
12. 162.
Of Resolution of Board of the Ministry of Culture of the Russian Federation No.
112 of 19.02. 90 and Resolution of Board of the State Committee for Construction of the Russian Federation No. 3 of.
Order of the Ministry of Culture of the Russian Federation, Ministry of Regional Development of the Russian Federation of July 29, 2010 No.
418/339 about the approval of the list of historical settlements. It is approved by the 4th session of the Yoshkar-Ola City Meeting of. According to the decision of the Yoshkar-Ola Executive Committee of the City Soviet of People's Deputies, about assignment of names to bridges of the city of Yoshkar-Ola of. Order of the Government of the Russian Federation of April 20, 2016 No. 726R. The Resolution of Administration of the City District, City of Yoshkar-Ola of, No. 3174 about the name of a game-built area in the city of Yoshkar-Ola.
Resolution of the Mayor of Yoshkar-Ola of, No.
789 about renaming of Anasimovskaya Street.
The Resolution of Administration of the City District, City of Yoshkar-Ola of the Republic of Maury L of September 27, 2011 No.
2549 about assignment of the name, Arkhangelsk settlement, of the territory of a complex of buildings of public appointment.
The Resolution of Administration of the City District, City of Yoshkar-Ola of, No.
3254 about the name of the embankment of river. Small Kokshaga on the side from Theatre Bridge to Soldiers Internationalist Street.
With the amendments brought by the Resolution of Administration of the City District, City of Yoshkar-Ola of the Republic of Maury L of October 19, 2011 No. 2742 about refining of writing of the name of Malaya Kokshaga River Embankment, the Embankment of Bruges.
The agreement on the twinning relations between Yoshkar-Ola and Chamberlain did not consist.
On May 19, 1971 the Constituent Conference of the Maury Office of Society of the Soviet-Hungarian Friendship, at which the decision on expansion and strengthening of friendly contacts between made-related Maury by the USSR, which capital was Yoshkar-Ola, and the Vashti region of the Hungarian People's Republic, which administrative center was the city of Chamberlain, was made to quit.
Primakiovson so far. Write comments. Read comments. Interesting people will tell interesting stories. All of good mood and good luck.